Welcome back. Well, with many businesses feeling that they're on the edge, they may be looking to their insurance to cover them for the losses they've experienced during the lockdown and caused by COVID-19. Although some business interruption policies do have clauses that mention governmental quarantine and contagious and infectious diseases, it may not be that simple. Ludwig Behrens is a senior associate at Ulrich, Roux and Associates, a law firm. He joins us now. Ludwig, good evening to you. What kind of products are there? I mean, what kind of cover would most companies actually have in a situation like this?
Well, Stephen, it's a subjective test at best. You have to look at your policy wording. Some policies would have it in as a standard clause. Others would have it as an extension. So you need to look at your policy wording and then go according to that, and see if you do actually have a claim under either a governmental lockdown, which is imposed currently, alternatively for a contagious and infectious disease.
Are you hearing about disputes? I mean, is this something insurance companies and their clients are actually arguing about at the moment?
Yes, the current trend, or the major dispute which is rearing its head, is regarding the definition of the pandemic and whether it is actually relevant to your policy. It's the interpretation that's where the grey area is currently lying. And it's only going to be a matter of time through test cases that we're going to know exactly where we stand.
I was going to say, I'm sure that someone's going to bring a case before a judge. There'll be precedent set and all the rest. It would seem fairly obvious to me, though, and I'm not a lawyer, thank goodness, but it would seem fairly obvious that if you cover risk, if you're covered for the risk of disease and infectious disease or government lockdown, you're covered. If you don't mention that in the policy, you're not.
Well, you would think that is that simple. Unfortunately, what we are finding is that insurance companies and the reinsurance companies are facing a massive influx of these kind of claims. And until a test case has been established and we can actually see how the courts interpret these kind of claims, it's open for interpretation. You get cases where insurance companies tell their clients, well, unless you can prove that there has been a COVID-19 case at your premises, you will not be covered under your policy.
I would imagine the insurance companies will fight quite hard. This is exactly the kind of event that will collapse insurance companies. I mean, the whole industry could be at risk. And I realize they reinsure themselves, and in the end, they all just make a little bit less money. But still, some companies will already be looking in a very difficult position.
Absolutely. This is going to shake up the industry like it's never been before. And it's actually going to create a consumer out there that's actually going to read their policy contract. You know, it's contracts in the excess of 80, 120 pages. And you get your policy schedule as a consumer. You see you've got business interruption insurance, but you don't really know the nuances behind it. And they are going to have to start covering bases with renewals or new policies to look at something like a COVID-19.
I mean, it's like cell phone contract. Who's actually ever read a cell phone contract, ever? I do need to ask, I mean, you would think if I were a business person, I would think to myself, the chances of an infectious disease in a government quarantine, I mean, the last time it happened in this country is over 100 years ago. It's such a small chance of a risk. I'm not going to pay a premium on that. Then it happens, and of course my lawyers are going to get very, very excited and say, let's see if we can find a way to make the cover that we have fit this. And that's probably where the tension lies.
Yes, and I think the tension lies with whomever drafted the policy contract initially. They're so broad and so wide in how they verbalize it in the contract that they've opened themselves up to something that nobody thought was going ever to happen in our lifetimes. And now they're sitting with what is stated in that contract, and they are bound by it. It's something that insurance companies are going to look at, probably ring fencing quite aggressively, and it's going to, like I said, create a consumer that's going to look for that type of cover. Now you ask yourself, what is the premium on that cover going to be? who knows? We'll have to see.
It's going to be fascinating to watch that play out. The court cases are going to be fantastic. Ludwig Behrens, thanks very much indeed. Senior Associate at Ulrich, Roux and Associates there.